right. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to have you all with us here this morning. We're going to go through a flow yoga sequence today. A few things to keep in mind. If you do have any joint precautions, shoulders, hips, knees, ankle, you may want to be extra cautious with certain movements. You never want to feel pain or discomfort. You may feel a little tension or stretch, and that's okay, but pain is not. So be extra cautious with certain movements if you have any joint precautions. Also thinking about spinal precautions, you want to be extra cautious against flexing the spine or excessive twisting. So also keep that in mind as well. Otherwise, I think we're good to go ahead and get started. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, so welcome. All right, let's get started. We're going to be seated today. Find a rug or a mat or even a carpet if you don't have any other resources. That's perfectly fine. All right, so moving anything out of the way, we can, so we can feel our hip bones, our sits bones, I should say, anchored into the mat. Sitting up tall, elongating the spine. And we're going to make our way upward in our cueing. So we want to start by thinking about our hips. We want to be careful not to roll the hips forward. We want to hug the abdominal, the belly muscles in lightly to keep the hips in neutral. As we make our way upward, we want to think about lengthening the vertebrae. And as we breathe, we're expanding the chest wall, expanding the rib cage, sending the breath deep into the belly. And as we exhale, we gently release. Feel the gentle relaxation of the rib cage. Feel those belly muscles hug in a little bit more. And continue that flow of breath. We also want to think about our shoulders and our shoulder alignment. We want the shoulders pulled down and back. Hugging the shoulder blades together, keeping the chest open. And then with our ears, we want our ears back over the shoulders. So tucking that chin lightly so we can stack the ears, creating space at the back of the neck. Continue that flow of breath, smooth and controlled. Inhale as we expand, exhale as we release. Let's begin to add a little movement with our breath. As we inhale, we'll turn the palms up, reaching the fingertips to the sky. As we exhale, we draw the palms together and bring the hands to heart center, hands to heart to thumbs. As we inhale, we lift. And as we exhale, join back down. And again, inhale to lift. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, opening, creating space. Exhale as we release. Let's do one more flow as we inhale. Hands up. Exhale, heart center. And this time, as we move into our next breath, we're going to slowly draw the chin over the right shoulder. Exhale as we pause and hold. Now we gently inhale and bring the chin over the left shoulder. Once again, pause and hold. Inhale as we slowly draw the jawline back to center. And then exhale, release. And then inhale as we begin to lift. And exhale, bringing that left arm to the right knee. Shoulders roll down and back. Keeping the spine straight. Giving that gentle side twist stretch. But again, being careful if you have any precautions. You don't want to press into this stretch. Smooth and controlled breathing. Good. Gently release as we flow back to the center line. Inhale, exhale, drawing to heart center. Inhale, lift, and bring the right arm to the left knee. Keeping the chest tall and open. We never want to round and roll forward. We always want to stay up and lifted. Good. Slowly drawing back to the center line. As we inhale now, we'll take that right arm up and around, sliding that left hand out to provide a gentle support. Side bend. Once again, keeping the chest open and tall. Couple of deep breaths, and then gently release. Inhale as we come to the other side. Slowly release. Great job. All right, we're going to do a little transition here. Swinging the legs back behind. We're going to come to hands and knees position. If you would like at this time, feel free to grab extra padding for the knees. If you need that little extra cushion, you can use a blanket, roll up your mat, whatever you need to provide that little extra cushion. We're going to come to a hands and knees position. And what we're going to focus on here is our cat-cow position. But a little modification with our cat-cow pose is that, and I'm going to turn to my side so you can see me here. As we inhale, I want you to focus on dropping the belly, rounding the back, scooping the chest forward. And then as we exhale, instead of moving into a full cat, I want you to focus on tucking the hips under instead of excessively rounding that upper back. And continue that flow. We inhale to drop the belly. Exhale, tuck the hips under, squeeze belly button to spine. Release the breath. Keeping the upper back more neutral than in full cat. And then right back to inhale. You want to keep the elbows soft, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. It's okay as you go into the exhale if you feel your glute muscles, your butt muscles kick in a little bit. And good. Let's do that flow one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Let's go ahead and come back to neutral. I'm going to turn back so I'm facing you. Want to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hug those belly muscles in lightly. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Then we're going to now move to a spinal balance. So our right leg is going to lift toes to the back wall, trying to keep in line with the hips. The left arm will extend forward. Level 2. And if you want even more, we're going to add a little bit more balance and a little side hip work. We're going to gently turn out to the side, making a diagonal line all the way from toes to fingertips. And then we'll extend back to center and lower. Great job. Let's go to the other side. Left toes lift, reach to the back wall. Right arm extends, lengthens, and slowly rotate. Coming back to center, reaching, lengthening, and then slowly lower. Great job. Little recovery here. Let's move the hips side to side. Smooth and controlled breaths. All right, let's now move once again. Let's do one more time with each side. Right leg lifts, toes to the back wall. We lengthen, extend, keeping the spine in neutral. Focusing not on lifting that leg, but really on just reaching. Let's add the left arm. Deep breath. And if you want to add that rotation, here we go. Add a quick pause. Slowly come back to center and release. Let's go to the other side. Left arm, left leg lifts. Now right arm. Add the rotation. Focusing on lengthening as best you can. Gently draw back to the center line and release. Great job. Take a little step back. What we're going to do next is a gentle flow forward and back. We want to walk the hands in front of the shoulders now. And as we inhale, we're going to bring the hips forward. So we're in a modified plank. So we want the hips to be in a straight line, shoulders, hips to knees. As we exhale, we push the hips to the back wall. Keep the chin tucked gently. And as we inhale, we come forward again. Exhale, push to the back wall. Inhale, forward again. Exhale, push back, engaging the abdominals. Our focus is not in reaching the hips to the heels, but we want to reach the hips to the back wall. Inhale, forward. One more time. Exhale, pushing the hips back. One more time. Inhale, forward. And this time, we are going to move all the way back into child's pose. So you can walk your hands back, hips to heels. And this is our recovery here. Remember, with your child's pose, hands can be all the way forward. You can reach them back to the heels, or you can use the hands to stack and support the forehead. And we'll gently release. Walk the hands forward, and we're going to move into our first downward dog. So let's tuck the toes, lift the knees, press the hips up and back. We want to really focus on elongating the spine, tucking the chin. Pressing the hips up and back, heels reach to the floor. Feel free to add a little heel reach, bending each knee at a time, bicycling the ankles. When you're ready, we're going to gently begin to walk forward, walking the feet toward the hands, bending the knees, and then reverse swan dive as we lift open the chest. Reaching up and around, exhale to release. I'm going to step back so you all can see me. All right, we're next going to step into our chair pose. All right, got the name of it for just a second there. All right, so we have our feet hip width apart. Feeling all four corners of the feet make contact with the floor, so we feel anchored and grounded into the mat. Shoulders rolled down and back. Feeling the hips over our feet and our shoulders over our hips, ears over the shoulders. As we inhale, we scoop the hips back as if we were sitting in a chair. Fingertips reach up. Shoulder blades pulled down and back. We're going to breathe into this pose. Deep breaths. And from here, we're going to step into a crescent lunge. So we're going to send long lines of energy down that left leg, shifting our weight. The right leg is light. We step back, crescent lunge. Now our weight is even from front to back foot. Fingertips are reaching, shoulder blades pulled down and back. Begin to shift your weight forward once again, so that right leg is nice and light. Step back. Good, holding that chair pose. Keep the hips as low as possible. We want to be careful not to let the knees buckle inward or let them come forward. We want to keep them back, keep the hips back. Good, shifting our weight now to the right side. Left leg steps back and crescent. Different than our warrior one because our back heel is lifted. Our hips, shoulders, everything is square to the front wall. Let's slowly shift forward. Step back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, gently release. Let's do a couple of shoulder rolls. Loosen up here. right, let's do that one more time. See now, this time you can get your hips a little lower if that feels good to you. All right, feet are hip to shoulder width apart. Feeling all four corners of the mat. Inhale as we sit the hips down and back. What I meant was feeling all four corners of the feet, not the mat. That would be a little difficult right now. But we're really reaching through the fingertips, elongating the spine, keeping those abdominals tight. Shifting our weight over here to the left. Long lines of energy down that left leg. The right leg's nice and light. Stepping back. Crescent lunge. Great job. One more deep breath. Stepping forward, shifting the weight, stepping back, centering here in chair pose. Deep breath, and then shifting to the right so that left leg can lift, coming back to center. Keeping the hips tucked under. Keep the belly muscles tight and engaged. And slowly release, stepping forward back to chair pose. Keep those hips low. One more breath. Exhale, release, and then inhale, scooping back and around. And release. And a couple of shoulder rolls. Looking fabulous so far, everyone. All right, our next move is going to be our warrior two. So what I want to do next, step our left leg forward, keep that right foot back, and we're going to step back and gently turn to the side, ever so slightly. Make sure you can get as much of me in the picture as you can. Hips tucked under, shoulders roll down and back. We want to make sure our front knee is in line with the hip so it's not buckling inward. We want to keep it nice and good alignment right over the ankle. Also being careful not to roll the hips forward, so tucking under, belly muscles tight, shoulder blades pulled together, and we want the heel of that front foot to line up with the arch of the back foot. A little tricky to see for me here, but just follow the cues. Arms up at shoulder height when you're ready. Looking over that front middle finger, being careful to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to transition gently into our reverse warrior. So that front palm lifts. Inhale, keeping the shoulders over the hips. We're extending and lengthening that front side body. Our gaze turns again over that front. Lifted middle. Lifted hand here. Gently rotating forward. Hand or forearm to that front thigh for extended angle, reaching forward and around. Gently coming back right here. Warrior two. Gotta keep that belly tight, keep my hips tucked under. Let's do that reverse one more time. Deep breaths and extended angle coming forward. This time, if you'd like, you can reach that hand forward a little more. Reaching that forward hand toward the mat if you want to go a little deeper into that stretch. And gently rotate back. Right here at Warrior Two, as we inhale, let's turn the palms up and lift. Turn the front toe in. Exhale, slowly release. Heel toe, walk the feet together. Great job. We're going to do the other side. And I want you to be able to see me a little more from the side angle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn my mat. All right, so you can stay exactly where you are. I'm just going to turn my mat a little bit so you can see me more from a side angle to do these poses. Next, what we're going to do is step our right foot forward. There, you can see me a little better there. Perfect. All right, so that right foot is forward. The arch of our right, or excuse me, the heel of our right foot lines up with the arch of that back left foot. Arms are up at shoulder height, fingertips reaching. Hips tucked under. Remember, keeping the knee in perfect alignment here with the hip. Let's go ahead and transition to that reverse warrior as we extend back. Gently rotate forward to extended angle. Forearm or hand reaches for that front thigh. Slowly rotating right back to reverse. And let's go to that extended angle. Now, once again, just as before, if you'd like to go a little deeper into that pose, you can. Reaching the fingertip all the way down toward the mat or resting at the shin or ankle like I am. You want to keep the hips and shoulders open and square to the front wall. Add a reach here. Nice diagonal line from that front hand all the way down to that back heel. Slowly release right back to warrior two. Thinking about anchoring and centering. Weight is even from front to back foot. The legs are strong and active, pulling in, pushing down. As we inhale, let's turn both palms up. Step forward, or excuse me, lift both hands. Now we step our feet together to slowly release. All right. Take a couple of deep breaths. Shake it out a little bit. We're going to make our way back down to the mat. As we inhale, arms come up and around. And as we exhale, we're pushing the hips back, bringing the chest forward. Swan dive to forward fold. We're going to stop here in tabletop, keeping our spine in neutral. Soft bend through the knees. We always want to keep that micro bend, never locking out the joints, pulling the shoulder blades together. And then we'll slowly transition to forward fold, using the shins or thighs for support as you need. We want to be careful to keep the shoulders in neutral and not just round the upper back. Deep breath here, and then we'll gently bend the knees, place the hands to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Adjust as you need. I'm step back a little bit. We're going to slowly lower down to the mat. Hands under the shoulders or just in front. As we inhale, we lift the chest, reaching forward, holding the shoulder blades down and back, tops of the feet. Rest on your mat. And we gently release. We really want to focus more on letting the chest reach forward, digging the palms in, creating a little resistance. Here we go again. Ready? Inhale. Pulling the hands back, pressing into the mat, shoulder blades pull back, and the chest reaches forward. Hip bones press into the mat, thighs press into the mat, lengthening of the vertebra. Couple deep breaths. Slowly release. From here, let's sit back into our child's pose. So we lift the hips and sit all the way back, keeping the hands forward. Good. We inhale, we're going to bring our right hand off the side of the mat, and the left hand will follow for a gentle side stretch. And let's go off to the left side, and the right hand follows, gentle side stretch. And gently come back to center. We're going to come up to a kneeling position next. So walking up again. If you need a little extra cushion for the knees, feel free to grab back that towel or the pillow or whatever you used. Want to be in a tall, lengthened position, and now I want you to think about really engaging the abdominal muscles. Tuck under, squeeze the glute muscles. So we're in a nice neutral position here. Hands to heart center, shoulder blades pulled down and back. We're going to do a quad exercise, really working the thighs. You should also feel the core. Let's slowly begin to hinge back. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, squeezing the thighs, squeezing the abdominals, squeezing the glutes. We're squeezing it all. If you feel it in your low back, keep the hips tucked under a little bit more. It might help, or back up a little bit. Once you find that stopping point, stop and hold. Slowly come back up. Good. Shake that out a little bit. We're going to do that one more time. This is great. Thigh exercise, core exercise. All right, back to heart center. Remember, if you're feeling it in your low back, give your glute muscles, your butt muscles, an extra squeeze. Tuck the hips under a little more, or don't go back quite as far. Here we go. Ready? Slowly come back. Once you find that stopping point, stop there. A couple of deep breaths. And slowly come forward. Great job. Shake it out once again. We're going to slowly walk forward with our hands. And then we'll slowly sit hips to heels, getting a good stretch now through the hips and low back. Child's pose here for a few breaths as we recover. Gently lift the hips from the heels. And now from here, we're going to make our way onto our back. So you can tuck the hips under. I'm going to bring my legs all the way around, just so I'm facing this direction. Whatever feels most comfortable to you is fine. We're going to slowly lower down to our mat. And from here, we're going to move into a quadruped figure four stretch, not quadruped, but our figure four hip stretch. And what we're going to do is start with that left leg. We're going to lift, cross over the right knee. Level one is right here. If you have any hip precautions, I recommend staying in this position. Level two, we're going to gently lift, reach behind the thigh. Feeling a stretch through the outer hip. We never want to press into it. Just feeling that gentle outer hip stretch. Slowly release, uncross, and then we're going to move to the other side. Level one again right here. Level two. Being careful not to overly stretch or tense through the neck and shoulders. Should just feel like a very gentle stretch. Outer hip. You may find one hip is tighter than the other. That's very common. You are not alone if that is the case, because I definitely have that as well. This hip feels much tighter to me today. Gently release, uncross. And now as we inhale, we're going to reach the arms up and around, reach to the back wall. Feel that stretch. Try to keep your rib cage down. Being careful not to let the low back arch too far off your mat. Keep down. The abdominals may kick in. Exhale, bring the hands back to the starting point. And inhale again, keeping the torso tight in position. Feel that stretch through the shoulders as we reach to the back wall. Exhale as we release. One more time. Inhale. And this time as we exhale, let's stay in position with the arms and straighten both legs till we're in a full body stretch. And when you're ready, you're going to transition to your Shavasana Pose. That's a pose of relaxation and recovery. You can stay on your back. You can move to seated like I am here. Just finding that pose where you can just focus on your breath, focus on the practice you did today, and just find a place of peace and comfort. A few breaths here. You have the option to stay in your Shavasana a while longer. You are welcome to do that. Stay in that Shavasana as long as you want. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'll see you again soon as we inhale, arms up and around. Exhale to release. Inhale and release. One more time. Inhale. Exhale to heart center. Thank you all for joining me today. Namaste. All right.